Yeah, hello and welcome to our lecture series on climate protection. Today we have a special guest, Katja. Katja is professor at Innovation and Entrepreneurship, a visiting fellow at the Laboratory of Innovation Science at Harvard. Her research focus on core topics of innovation and the question of how companies react on the change of traditional market logistics through the digital transformation and artificial intelligence, AI. In her presentation of today, she will focus on the transformation of innovation processes and how these methods can be applied for sustainability and climate protection. One of these methods is the innovation sprint, which was performed end of last year in University of Innsbruck in November with 5 challenges. I had the chance to attend as a coach at a very inspiring experience to see how this format works to accelerate on innovations and process. Welcome, Katja.
Thank you. I'll turn on the mic now. I don't know, you can hear me definitely, but if there is also someone online, because we have a bit of an echo here.
Could you please tell us if you can hear us? Luana, can you hear us? You could open your mic.
Maybe nobody's responding. Maybe it's a good sign. Otherwise, maybe annoying, and we'll stop, or maybe we can change something. So welcome. It's a great pleasure to be here. Honestly, climate change is not my topic, and it's not one of my research topics, but what we are doing a lot here in terms of innovation is, of course, we think about sustainability and also how to get here more sustainable insights into the innovation process. And I would like to walk you through a couple of examples, especially the processes, which can all be related back, I would say, to a very important topic we are facing nowadays, and we all have to contribute to, and hopefully we can all change it. As Rainer Fluger already mentioned, my background is on innovation, and especially the times we are facing right now. Is it the war, which is very close? Is it the climate change, the rising prices, the inflation, and so on? So which are very, I would say, challenging times. And our answer is to this: we have to change something, and maybe we also have to be very creative and innovative in order to change something here, and hopefully we can all together have an impact on it. Innovation is the topic I'd like to talk a bit about more today in this lecture. And the question is, how can we innovate, and how can we come up with new innovative products, solutions, services, which all help us to reduce the greenhouse gases, to reduce global warming, to be good in terms of climate change. Maybe we can think about more renewable energy, about the mitigation of all the various risks. So how can we do it, and how can we approach it? Maybe before we have a deep dive into various processes and topics, I'd like to give you a couple of definitions, what we think about when we talk about innovation, and how maybe also innovation can be managed. And innovation management is rather, I would say, a process which helps you to, once you come up with an idea, or once you face a certain problem, you can come up with an idea how you can tackle the problem, and then the innovation management process will help you to walk you through the whole process, and will guide you, because at the end of the day, we would like to have a very successful product, a very successful service, maybe a new business model here. What is innovation? It's not just all about the idea, that will be too short for us. It's more about invention, which would be the cool idea, how to solve, for example, the climate change, or how to support, how to come up with new products here in this way, this would be rather the invention, but then the diffusion or the exploitation also to really successfully bring it to the markets, that everyone accepts it, that everyone is working with it, and this combination we will refer to innovation. I think that's very important to us, especially when we talk about innovation management. And how can we now organize it in various ways, and especially also maybe in the digital area, and also especially when you think back about my first slide, the crisis and the challenges we are facing right now. Various organizations and institutions really have to think about their innovation strategy. What is the strategy about? What is their kind of forecast for the next 5 years, for the next 10 years? How we need to change to the current circumstances, to the current challenges we are facing. Underneath, we have to think about, okay, how can we orchestrate the various processes? I have shown you before the innovation management, which could be a guideline. And here we also have maybe various processes. And underneath, maybe we have single certain tasks that we come up with these new sustainable solutions here. So the strategy is the overall, how can we incorporate maybe climate change, sustainability topics, so on and so forth in our strategy, in our agenda, in our future plans, and underneath which kind of processes do we need to come up maybe with new processes, and how can we manage on an individual level also the certain tasks here. And what does this mean for organizations? With the different challenges we are facing right now, we think innovation is the only answer. Change and transformation is the only answer that we can really tackle the various problems. And if we think about coming up, for example, with sustainable strategies or various topics in the organization's strategy, we have to think about what are the fields we want to tackle. We would relate them back to innovation fields. What are the fields we have to invest? Which kind of trends, for example, we are facing, and what is already going on in the various innovation fields? Maybe if we talk especially about global warming, climate change, and also the mitigation, how to reduce this, maybe we cannot do this by ourselves. Maybe we have to find partners who are supporting us, and maybe we have to identify various experts or idea providers. And then we have to think about also how we can gain access to the knowledge. So first of all, how we can find the partners, but also how we can gain the access to the relevant knowledge. And of course, customer needs are changing, and we are facing tremendous challenges, so we don't have to wait that long, so we have to be rather fast. And so in order to succeed, we also have to be very fast, very quick, so our innovation cycles are also shortening, are also very small, and the complexity on the other hand is increasing. So maybe we cannot do this by ourselves. Maybe we also have to think about whom we can collaborate with, whom we can partner with. And if we now have a new strategy, for example, in mind, or new topics which are popping up, maybe it's not just our core business any longer. So we have to still adapt our innovation portfolio, which means the core topic, the core product we are offering on the left corner. These are the products we are producing right now, where we have specialists and where we have the expertise in-house. But if we think about the future change, the future transformation to reach more sustainable goals, for example, then maybe we have to come up with different ideas, with different topics which are out of our competences, which are out of our markets, out of our current products, and we are more in this right upper corner, and maybe they could be transformational, or we also relate them back to disruptive. And in an innovation management language, if we, on the one hand, further continue with our academic products and services because they are successful right now, but in the future we want to change, or we have to change in order also to reach various goals which are now also provided, for example, by the government, or legal issues. Maybe we have to come up with new ideas, and this is more we have to explore new areas. So we have to do both. On the other hand, we have to exploit our current products, our current services. On the other hand, we have to come up with new issues, maybe more in the direction of sustainability. So we have to explore new areas. And if we want to do both sides, it's rather difficult, and the innovation management literature is referring to this to ambidexterity. And this is quite challenging to do both in an organization. But now I'd like to show you, as I said, I'm not the expert in a certain area. Is this sustainability, or is this like a certain technology or various industries? We are rather the experts in the process and how we can come up with new processes, how we can change innovation management in order to maybe reach and come up with the new strategy, for example, with new products or services. And if we are still in our core business, in our traditional business, it's like the classical innovation management. Maybe we have like a stage gate process where various project teams meet and show us the various improvements, and on the gates we have the management team who say, okay, you can go, or maybe you have to refine or change it. They will support us with money, maybe with further employees. This is rather classical innovation management. And if we go further into other areas, maybe the topics, which is also part of this lecture, if it's climate change or other topics, maybe we don't have the expertise in-house because it's not our core business, it's more related business. It could be said it's an adjacent area, or maybe it's a rather new business. So we can think about whom we can collaborate with, and we do a lot here in open innovation and crowdsourcing, or on the upper right corner, maybe we have to team up in a whole innovation system, in an ecosystem. Maybe we have to look for startups who are supporting us here along the innovation journey. And now I have a couple of examples for you along those 3 lines, and hopefully also have chosen some interesting examples also for you. So in terms of crowdsourcing or open innovation, which means that you are opening up the innovation process, you're facing a certain challenge, a certain problem, your company is facing, or your institution is facing a certain problem, and you are kind of opening up the innovation process, and you look for external solutions, for external ideas, for external know-how. And it doesn't matter who it is, who is supporting, who is generating a solution. It can be students, it can be retired people, it can be somewhere from other industry, from other branches. You are just interested in the solution provider. And what's very important is that you frame the problem right. And you can do this in various ways. For example, you can do it short term, long term, you can do it internally or externally. What does it mean? For example, you can just set up on the internet, there are various platforms out there where you say, okay, my organization is facing a certain problem. We are posing the question online and we look for some solutions. And at the end, for example, the best ideas will be awarded with a prize, and some money will be given away. And this would be the external and short term. There are also other communities which all the time they are looking for various solutions, and also external again and long term. So all the time you can share a certain problem there, maybe you're also collaborating with them, so you will do this also long term. And maybe you're working on various topics where your competitor shouldn't be informed what you're working right now on. Maybe it's more confidential. You can use also the internal fund, your employees, not just the ones from the R&D departments, but everyone in your organization to participate here. And this can be also short-term, again, like set up like a contest, or long-term, where it's like, yeah, a community where you exchange the knowledge to various topics. It's also not just due to confidential issues, can be set up internally, and also makes sense if you're working in a huge organization. For example, here is Siemens. I don't know the exact number right now, but 300 up to 400,000 employees. So there's a lot of know-how within Siemens. So it makes totally sense to just open it up for Siemens and to run such their innovation contests internally. What we are doing, we also run this, for example, with our students. We try to understand what is the problem exactly from corporation X, Y, or Z, or institution X, Y, or Z. So in the first stage, we want to understand the problem. We run, for example, a couple of interviews to talk to the target group, to learn more about their unfulfilled needs. And once we have a kind of a great understanding about the problem, we phrase and we define the problem, and then in the second stage we put it out to the crowd, and hopefully we are receiving a couple of nice solutions. And the two diagrams you are seeing here, this refers also back to design thinking, where it's like there are mainly two stages here. In the first stage, you would really understand the problem, and in the second stage, you would really provide some solutions. I show you one example, which is already a couple of years ago when I was part of the NASA tournament lab, and we did some research there. We wanted to learn more about why are individuals out there and why do they want to really be part of various crowdsourcing projects. We thought about, is the price the right incentives, or do we need something else? And I just brought you some example from the NASA. So it says, Houston, we have a problem, and what the challenge is about, I'll show you in a short video, and maybe the online crowd can give us a sign if they can hear the sound or not.
Energy, in one form or another, powers everything on Earth, and the man-made things floating above it, too. This is the International Space Station. You've probably heard of it. It's powered by the sun, and the sun's energy is captured by the station's solar panels. Ensuring the space station harvests the most energy possible is a complicated task. Why? Well, for one reason, see those large solar panels? Holding them to the station are very long, thin arms called longerons. Anytime an odd number of longerons are in full sunlight, with others in the shadows cast by the rest of the space station, they bend and eventually break. For this reason, ISS operators are careful to position the station to limit shadowing, and so only an even number of longerons are shadowed at one time. However, this conservative positioning reduces the power the station can collect from the sun, thus causing inefficiency.
Sorry, there's this terrible background noise. I don't know. It's windy in Innsbruck, but it shouldn't be here in the lecture room. But the task was, I don't know if they're online.
Introducing the NASA Tournament Labs.
It's the International Space Station, and they want to have the maximum output of energy, and the energy is provided by solar panels. and you have to do a lot of calculations in order to see, okay, which position the solar panels have to be, that there's a maximum output. And of course, NASA had a lot of corporations and partners who were kind of supporting them in order to do the calculation, in order to have the maximum output. But Karim Lakhani, the host of the NASA tournament, said, okay, maybe let's go out on this route. Maybe they can do better. Maybe we can maximize the solar output here for the ISS. And they kind of shared the contest on Topcoder, which is a community. In former days, it was only for programming guys to do some algorithm challenges. Now it's also a design community, so also various tasks can be published there. And there's a huge crowd who is just looking for various challenges from cooperation partners, and they want to solve them. And also in this case, it was posted here online, 30,000 US dollars for the winning amount of money you could win. At the end of the contest, they had about 460 competitors, which means participants who were submitting the algorithms, the solutions, and about 2,000 code solutions. Here you can see also the winners of the contest, and this is kind of the line, the 90,000, the kind of the status quo. And you can see all the code submissions, and the crowd kind of outperformed the status quo. The status quo was a collaboration with Boeing, a very expensive one, and here they got a lot of new code submissions, and also they could outperform the status quo. And this is just one example out of hundreds, where the kind of the crowd really supported various organizations, various institutions, and kind of here increased or provided a great solution. Another example, it's not external, it's internal. As I already said, Siemens has a lot of employees, and the most tackling challenging problem within Siemens is if Siemens knew what Siemens knows, because they have so many employees and various business units, so sometimes it's very difficult that one business unit is not talking to another business unit. And so at these days, there was an innovation manager, Mr. Lackner, and he said, maybe we can kind of have more collaboration across the business units. We can break up the silo thinking. And at this day, they wanted to implement a new products, new services, of course, which follow also the sustainability idea, because at this time the new sustainability manager was implemented. And for this reason, they had already a strategy in mind, but they wanted to ask the Siemens employees, what do they already know in terms of sustainability within Siemens, about sustainable products and so on and so forth. And what they did is they implemented again a platform where they said, okay, dear Siemens employees, please participate, please contribute your ideas to our challenge, which is related to the sustainability products or services within Siemens. And they got a lot of members, 3,400 members who participated, 850 ideas, a lot of evaluations. So the Siemens employees kind of evaluated the ideas, and not just evaluated it from like 1 to 5 directly, they also commented a lot, like 3,000 comments from the 3,000 members. And what we did, we looked into their communication patterns. And this is just the network analysis of one day, where all the blue dots are the participants on this certain day on the platform. And the black lines means that one Siemens employee is sending another Siemens employee a message, comment to the idea. So out of this, you cannot read a lot, maybe you can see, okay, there's a lot of communication happening. But what we wanted to see is, okay, is it really true that business units from one to another are communicating, or also from various hierarchy levels are communicating? And this you can see on this graph. Because we didn't know that it's Max or it's Maria, we knew that from which business unit the person is coming and from which management level. And so we can definitely see that this, for example, contest helped also to increase the communication across the various business units. It's a question.
Why are there two clusters then?
The clusters, I mean, you could, this is in terms of the calculations of the network analysis. So it's always the shortest distance from one idea to the other. And it's just because, for example, the upper right got a lot of traffic, as you can see here, but this is just due to the calculations behind the network.
Those could be that there are too many ideas in anything.
No, not especially too many ideas. Not there are a lot of ideas, but it's more like where one person is communicating to another, and the network just shows the shortest distance from one person to the other. But it couldn't be related back to two main ideas. But what you can see on the upper right, there is like one person who received a lot of comments. So this must be a very attractive idea, because he or she received a lot. Yeah. We are also doing this crowdsourcing contest with our students, with our master students, and we have our own channel here. And as I already mentioned, you can do this for various different topics here. For example, collaborated with Unicar, it was more about new digital products for young professionals who are living in the city. Or for example, on the left side in the second row, Shiboko, you can see for young entrepreneurs in Africa. We also did some strategy in terms of how should Tyrol look in 2030. Also, of course, with all in the back of the terms of sustainability. Here is another example of the future of farming. So these are various topics and various contests. It looks so easy, but the contests have to follow various rules. And so the topic is very crucial. It has to be a very attractive one, and also the phrasing of the topic, the problem definition has to be not too broad, but not too precise. You need to have the right incentives, the right incentive structure. As I said, is money, or how much money you want to distribute. You need also communication strategies. You need also some moderators. And what is the most important part is also then at the end of such a contest, a fair and transparent jury decision process. So you need to announce why is this idea winning, and of course before you also need to announce what are the criteria, for example. Is it always innovativeness, or maybe which relates to the topic of the lecture? Is it going into the area, for example, sustainability, or if you're proposing a crowdsourcing contest to reduce climate change? So then this could be also, for example, one jury criteria here, or one evaluation criteria. What we are doing also now is not just that the humans are creating the ideas, we are also looking into artificial intelligence, and we are also trying to experiment nowadays with ChatGPT. If also the artificial intelligence can generate great ideas and designs here, and we are just in the middle of various experimentation here. And as we can already say from previous contests, for example, that also two of the ideas of the artificial intelligence generated ideas were among the shortlisted, were also among the winning ideas. So this is also where we are very interested to learn more about it. What we are doing here, so this refers again back to our diamond. What we are doing here, we want to open up the kind of problem understanding space, but on the other hand, also this solution space if we are collaborating here and also supporting or working with artificial intelligence. Another example would be if we don't have the problem, we don't know what the problem is, maybe we could start our process more and that we look into various trends. What are the trends right now? There are various trends out there like macro trends or more like smaller trends, which could be like micro trends. And of course, one of also of our mega trends is the topic of climate change and what can we do all about this. There are some research institutes out there who are just figuring out what are the next trends and how they are interrelated and how they are connected. And this can be also used, for example, for organizations to identify how their future strategy could look like. They could build up some trend radars. What does this mean? They are going through the mega trends, they are going through the macro trends, and they are now just thinking about, okay, for example, one of the mega trends would here be, for example, artificial intelligence or urbanizations, new lifestyles, security and transparency, and many other trends. And you need to evaluate, okay, is this maybe a potential chance for my organization, for my institution, or is there also a lot of risk associated with this? Do I have just to watch and observe the trends because right now it's not impacting my organization or my industry really hard? Or is it, do I really have to act because it's a huge chance for me? Or maybe there are also a lot of risks connected to the trends. Once you do the evaluation, then you came up maybe with a big picture where you can see, okay, we have to act now here in this area, for example, in the area of sustainability, we have to do something, and we have to create new products, we have to think about our processes in order to reach certain goals. And I'd like to share another example. We collaborated with a local organization, which is about well known also on the international market. It's Handel Speck. And of course, Christian Handel, the owner, is also thinking about what's the future of my organization, what's the future of my company. Greenhouse gases, global warming, renewable energy, carbon footprint, you name it. He's also thinking about, okay, can I continue the business I'm doing it right now, or do I have to also step into other areas, for example? And also the customers are changing. Maybe more vegetarian foods and so on and so forth. And so we evaluated all the trends with him and his innovation managers. So we said, okay, what's the impact of sustainability on your business? What's the impact of digitalization on your business? What's the impact of urbanization and so on and so forth? Do you have to observe it? Do you have to plan something in the near future, or do you have to really act now? And we went through all the trends with him. We did some evaluations, the students as well as his team, and we kind of identified some future fields of innovation where he could continue, where he could go into the direction. And not just the students did the evaluation in his teams, we also thought about, okay, what's already out there in his area, what are the kind of innovations going on right now. And we came up with various trend fields, for example, energy, climate change, and sustainability, which was one core trend field. Then another one was medicine, health, or self-optimization, and so on. So we came up with various trend fields, and from the trend field, we thought about, okay, how could the core trend field look like? And at the end of the day, which kind of new product could be invented? And we ran some ideations together with the students and his innovation team. And at the end of the idea, we came up with a lot of snacking ideas, which was also his topic, that we should think about the future of snacking. And one field was more in terms of sustainability, one was more in terms of, okay, we think not just meat, maybe vegetarian or vegan food. Maybe also he was thinking about maybe he can produce some artificial meat and so on and so forth. So we came up with various ideas, and just to give you an example, which came out this year, or last year, I have to say, in April, that he is now producing also some vegetarian sausages. This was not our explicit idea. We came up with more, I would say, creative parts, but he is going into the direction, and of course, the topic of sustainability is a big one in his organization. Mm-hmm.
The core trend fields, no, the other slide.
Yes.
Yes. And also the research in those core fields. How do you come up with all that information? Is it by searching for papers, articles, research? How do you come up with all of it?
We collaborated, and I forgot to mention this on the left bottom, you see in Manas, which is a platform. And they're doing a lot of strategy consultants work, but all in a digital atmosphere. And what they have is they have included, for example, here, all the trends. So you could read through all the trends, like the mega trends, the macro and the micro trends. They're explained in a very nice manner. And then you could do the evaluation on the trends. So this is always the question, what is the impact of this trend on my organization? Is it a chance? Are we facing certain risks and so on and so forth? So you do the evaluation, you do it, and also the company expert too. And here on the innovation radar, like here, you get the various dots where you can then see, okay, here we have to act, here we have to prepare, and this trend we only have to watch. And here you can see this internal, external experts who are evaluating this. And out of this, you get in a second stage, another screenshot, it's not related to 100, just out of the platforms, it says medicine technique, but anyway, you will get an evaluation where you have your strengths and your weaknesses. And out of the strengths and weaknesses, for example, and also when you are also observing your competitors, you can then come up with a more better framed strategy where you should go, in which direction should you go. And what you can also get out of this database is what is already going on in the field. This is the innovation compass. So there are some scouts there, but nowadays also artificial intelligence is helping us. They are generating all the data out of various newspaper, magazines, publications, and so you get all the latest results, for example, related to artificial meat production. Or do we already have a lot of experience in eating insects? Is this, for example, a future possibility, for example, also for honey? Or what ingredients are very important for him for his veggie sausage? So you get all the information out of it. By this company, for example, but of course you could generate it yourself or with the support of artificial intelligence. It's very cool. And the cool part is also, for example, it's not just the company view, because normally if you're working on future strategy, it's normally as top management who is meeting, and you have paper, pencil, the flip charts and so on. But here you have so many information, and you can do also get some, for example, some food experts. One of the core topics was also the term of packaging in a sustainable way. As you see the speck, it's all with plastic. Yeah, sure. And this was also one area. So we came up with cool new packaging concepts to get away of all this plastic. But this was generated all up, just a process. So as I said, I'm not a food expert, and my students were kind of here generating a lot of ideas, because we got so much inspiration out of the internet, out of all the knowledge there, and also with our evaluations together with the evaluation from Handel, from the company, and then we generated a lot of ideas. Another example, how much time do I have left? No. Another example, and I would like to go into the next direction, where we say, okay, it's more like on this upper right, we think about very new business and maybe also some radical innovation. So where we don't have a lot of core competences, know-how in the organization, we miss the capabilities in our team. And so this is where we say, okay, maybe we have to come up with an innovation ecosystem. And how could an innovation ecosystem could look like? Maybe related to an innovation hub, where you are collaborating with various partners. For example, this could be universities, research institutes, who have maybe a lot of know-how in various technologies, various areas. This could be definitely startups. Also being very quick and very innovative, maybe also other corporate partners, maybe also your competitors, and also maybe some service providers, for example, who are just supporting you, as I showed you before with, for example, these crowdsourcing platforms, who could be platform providers who are just supporting you with the processes or services. We also have here at the university, I don't know if you know it, but we also try to support the startups, or especially the ideas. And once you have a great idea, maybe you can go into the incubator, which is very close by, where it's a very cool playground for innovation. And together with the incubator, we are doing also different formats where we kind of support and also organizations, not just startups, but maybe where we can also combine them. It's, for example, a 1-week innovation sprint where you start, try to understand the problem, and after like 4 to 5 days, you should really come up with a prototype, a kind of a first solution, which you should also test with the customers. Another thing is also relates back to this topic of the lecture series here. We came up last year with a hackathon. It's not called hackathon, it's called climathon, because where we also thought about, okay, what are the really important topics, which kind of moonshot ideas will help us to deal with the large-scale sustainability and climate change challenges. And we want really to find sustainable solution and kind of create a really impactful change. How does such an innovation sprint or the climathon look like? We kind of form various teams, and the teams, it's very important for us, it's that they have different kind of expertise, they have different know-how, so they come from different study backgrounds. And then we also like to have it very effective in terms of time. So we also apply this time boxing, that you only have 48 hours, and then you really come up with a prototype. you have some mentors who are supporting you, and also a lot of guidelines in terms of the innovation coaches, which should support you through the 48 hours. There's another sprint happening in the beginning of March. So if you missed maybe the last one in November, there's another one which is taking place this time in Salzburg. There's an innovation festival going on in the beginning of March, and if you're interested, just let me know, and I can arrange you a spot there and also a ticket for the sites. Just to give you another and maybe a final example how such a sprint could look like and what are the kind of the topics. Salzburg Wohnbau, they are experts in building like schools, kindergartens, big apartment houses and so on and so forth. And they just submitted a challenge where they say, okay, what can we do with the desk and all the furniture, for example, from the schools? How can we refurbish them? Maybe we can upcycle them. And this is really the picture they brought us, the furniture, and they asked the crowd, okay, do you have any idea how we can reuse it, how we can change and adapt it? And we got a lot of great solutions here. What is all behind these processes, especially in the innovation sprint? It's all related back to this lean innovation. And I think it's very important, especially if we want to have like fast solutions, quicker solutions. And what's very important here is that we run a couple of experiments. Instead of precise planning, we need the customer feedback. It's more important than the intuition. And we also need some feedback loops here, and not just wait until it's perfectly developed to the end, and then maybe we come up to the market and then we experience that it's a flop. I walked you through a couple of examples, and this is more like a summary slide to the end, where I said I opened up with kind of saying, okay, maybe we can open up the innovation process. It's worth to ask our employees or to also look beyond the organizational boundaries to find some solutions. So we should go away, if it's possible, and if the problem allows, we should open up, we should go away from this closed innovation to more user-centered innovation, where we really think about what's the problem for our customers, what are the challenges they are facing. We will open up and run, for example, crowdsourcing contests, and we run some innovation sprints. Maybe we can collaborate with other partners in the innovation ecosystem. And I think what's the next stage is also, and maybe which is all supporting different projects, and where we are kind of here putting our emphasis on now is more on AI and how AI is supporting us. To sum it up, it's more about the user perspective. We also want to have more an entrepreneurial spirit. We should try to work towards more a failure and a risk culture. This is more room for experimentation. We should integrate all the various employees, because the challenges we are facing nowadays with all the topics around climate change, I think it's not just a task of R&D. Employees, everyone should think about possible solutions. We should be open for external solutions. We need this kind of a playful handling. What do I mean with this? Is more the call for experimentation towards this failure and risk culture. And also we should think about motivating the various employees. And I'd like to close with these slides, especially in the times we are facing right now. I think many organizations and institutions, they really have to rethink and reinvent their strategy and innovation work. And yeah, I would stop here. And I don't know if we have time, or I have time if, for questions, and I'm happy to answer. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this presentation. All the tools for education. You also mentioned the research. The other hand, we need some trend setting. So the European Commission did in the last years is some kind of trend setting. We will really reveal and new generation. That's trend setting, and the companies now follow this trend and orient throughout this trend. We also have kind of tools for trend setting. How to set new trends like the European Commission.
I think we could go back then to, for example, single customers or to individuals, especially the ones who are very innovative, the ones who are maybe unsatisfied with the current products, and they are not just complaining about the products or about the offers, but they are inventing by themselves, and we call them, for example, the lead users. And the lead users would be a customer who is not satisfied with the current offering, but he's a very creative and inventive person, and he is kind of playing around at home and come up with new ideas. And the lead users, they invented a lot of things. For example, the camelback, the backpack. This was invented by a customer. Or also, for example, I don't know if you are ski touring, so walking up with the skis on the mountains. So everything was invented by a single customer. So I think it was not that the trend radar or the trend map showed us ski touring is a trend. So it was invented by a single customer. It was further produced. As I said, it's not just the invention, it's also the diffusion. And once it is successfully also brought on the market, then maybe other customers will start to follow the kind of the trendsetter. And even before the trendsetter, there's this lead user. And I think we could learn a lot out of lead users. And for every different topic, there are a lot of communities out there where you can learn and read a lot. And in the communities, for example, you would definitely find some who have already certain solutions to current problems.
From the online participants, if you have any questions or comments, just type in the chat or open the mic, please. Or do you have a question? So one question from my side is there some kind of problem sharing? You mentioned under spec or the packaging. That's a typical problem for them, but I think for many industry partners, they have the same problem. They have plastic and how to avoid it. How could they share their research and their problem solving if they have the same problem? Or we could collaborate with the clinic in Innsbruck, or the medical departments. They have the same problems as in Vienna for sustainability. How to share solutions which are the same throughout the industry.
It's a very good question, and I think it's a tough one also because the companies like to think about this open innovation, they like to open up, but once it comes to maybe competitors or others, they are closing again. And it's very difficult. I haven't seen a lot of examples where they are really collaborating, where they really say it's a win-win for every they are doing. We would say in German, jeder kocht seine eigene Suppe. And I think it is also in terms of innovation, it totally makes sense to combine them. And I always thought about, for example, also running an innovation sprint, for example, where not one organization is giving problem A, the second organization is giving problem B. Maybe it's all about packaging, and for example, if handling would be there, and other partners would be there, and everyone would think about a joint solution. But I think it's a cultural topic that we really have to open up, and I haven't seen a lot of examples there. Maybe some are coming, but I don't have a good answer on that. I think it's a cultural issue.
And at the beginning of your presentation, you mentioned the problem of interdisciplinary work. And I think one of the big problems there is the language. So if interdisciplinary specialists talk to each other, they don't understand each other. So new ideas come up if all of the group understand the problem in the same way, but they don't because they speak a different language. We have techniques for these to solve this or to make it easier to work together.
I think also the design thinking approach is a good one, because what we always like to do is, okay, we take time for the problem, like only a couple of seconds, and we think we understood the problem, and then we are just generating solutions. But with the design thinking, the first phase is really, the first step is really to understand the problem. And normally within the design thinking process, everyone should go out and watch, observe customers, and then come back. And then in a kind of a workshop format, all the insights and the gained experiences are shared. So everyone talks about his or her observation and the insights they generated, and they are putting this all on a wall. And then somebody is kind of moderating the process, and then they say, okay, now you have heard X, Y, and Z. So can we kind of rephrase the problem like this? And then everyone is agreeing on it. And once we have a common problem understanding, we move on to the second step and we think about the solution. So I think the correct answer is everyone has to do the observations with real customers, because normally we also think we know already what the problem is, but we should really go out, observe and ask and come back, reflect on this in the group, and then we should define a common problem that everyone agrees on. I think, and this is especially also with design thinking. And once we have a problem, then we can move on to the next step, generating ideas, working on prototypes. But then again, for example, on the prototypes, we have various prototypes, we will present them, and then we merge them, take the best out of each prototype, and then we have one big final solution, which is a collaborative. And sometimes we are not used to this process, it's my own idea. And I don't want to take maybe the insights from somebody else. But the collaboration, and I think then it's important, or then that's a cool part where all the interdisciplinarity is coming. And what is also important, I think that's something Austrian, we like to have our titles and so on, but within this design thinking, we are all the same person. So there's no hierarchy. I mean, maybe we need a moderator, but everyone else is not the expert in X, Y, Z. So we are all treated the same way.
Yeah, I experienced this innovation sprint. It was a really cool experience there. Really fast process, and it was already somehow interdisciplinary. But what I also observed was that if some disciplines were not represented there, people didn't think out of the box. So they didn't come to the point to see there is some external information or expertise necessary. They always think within their own box. So the solutions on the same problem but different depending on the people working on. How to find the way out of the box to see there is some external expert necessary. I don't have the knowledge, I need it. So how to step up?
I think especially with the team composition, if it's interdisciplinary, you're already stepping out. And I think it's also how you define the process. For example, if you do an ideation session and then you say, okay, we get some feedback from experts or coaches, so we have to adapt and change it. So also within the innovation sprint, we provided in some materials where they say, okay, what is a good brainstorming? What is a good idea evaluation? And we also had a couple of questions. How many customers you talk to, how many experts you interview to. So with all the, for example, questions, we kind of also ask the students to open up and not just use their way of thinking. So I think with the structure of the process and with a lot of iteration and feedback loops, you can guarantee this. And also what's important is, for example, in the beginning of such a process, you should definitely say out of the box thinking is allowed. We want to have disruptive solutions. We want to have creative solutions. Or maybe you should say, okay, we want to have some solutions which could be implemented next Monday. Then they are more in the box or thinking narrowly. But if you really say, okay, be creative, be open-minded, then they are open.
And it's not only a question of disciplines to think out of the box, but also the generation. So if we all think about climate change and sustainability, it's a matter of decades. Yes. It's a matter of generations. And if all the people do the innovation or the decisions, they think in their generation. They don't think like younger people. So although this bridge should
exactly. And then it's again back to our how we were born and raised in the culture. And in this generation, maybe it's they have different styles, norms, different culture. Also, which relates back to your previous question, why they are not collaborating if all are facing the same problem. I think it's also a cultural issue. Maybe the next generation will do it different. Maybe, I don't know. Could be.
At least we could start with organizations which don't have some problem of competition. So, for example, social housing. If social housing in Innsbruck works well, it's good. If it's the same in Vienna, they don't compete. So they can learn from each other and do very good work in different cities and learn from each other.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So, other questions in the chat? Yeah. Also, questions are also there are questions. You mentioned you use AI for generating new ideas. Is really the truth? Is AI able to generate new ideas, or is it only reproducing? It's learning from what it finds on the internet, in the big database, but can it really generate new ideas? It's a good tool, but for generating.
I mean, then the question is, if you look at our innovation contests and also at different innovation, most of the time it's a recombination of existing things. As this is also how we define innovation. And artificial intelligence is great in recombining existing things. And what we are doing right now is we look into the different dimensions. For example, if we evaluate the idea of novelty, creativeness, feasibility, viability, and so on. For human beings are more low than, for example, AI. But as our understanding is that innovation is the recombination of existing things. AI is great support.
Yeah, it was a question.
Yes.
Yes. Students, it was nice to see how they documented how it was used and store all the data.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How deep, say, I go with safety is like, how to say, this. Like the issue, I think because it's like, the engineering, for example, behind the idea, or the.
It depends what you are asking for. But you can challenge also AI to give you more insights and to go more deeper and deeper. And we are just now doing a lot of experiments also here. So where we, for example, give the information about our contest to the AI, and then we say, okay, what are we getting out? And then we are further asking and requesting. And what we do also right now is we take the stuff out of AI, we put it on the contest platform, and we run the jury meeting, and nobody knows if this is an AI-generated idea with humans, of course, because we all have to write the prompts, or is it just a human-generated idea? So this is what we are learning right now. But you can challenge AI. You get a lot of details, explanations. So what we, for example, for the contest, we always ask for a picture, a headline, a short abstract, and then a description, for example, 300 words of description or something like this. And you can directly say it, and it's generating, and it's cool.
My goal is to know how realistic it is that AI is.
This is also part of the problem, what you are phrasing. For example, if you say, okay, we want to have a realistic idea which could be implemented within the next 2 to 3 years, something like, you need to give some guidance. But that's the same with human beings. And you also have to say, think out of the box, think crazy, think disruptive, think about new emerging technologies and so on.
Was the percentage of AI ideas that were actually good ideas?
I cannot tell you that precise. We are just in the middle of various experiments. But for example, last year we ran an experiment, and also I have to say, due to fairness of AI, it's improving and it's getting better. So I think a year ago we ran an experiment with the crowdsourcing contest, and I think we had about 100 ideas, and 2 AI-generated ideas made it to the top 10. But you also have to think about, okay, who was feeding AI? I mean, here you have also a bias, definitely. So now we are running again experiments. Maybe we know more about prompting. We are also better in asking questions, and AI is also better. But we are tomorrow. There's another jury meeting, and next week on Monday, and so I already then know how many ideas made it into the top 10 or top 3. Yeah, but it's fun, and we have to experiment. I mean, I don't think the technology is going away, so we have to deal with it, and we have to learn how we can work and how it is supporting us, not just for cheating university or providing me great seminar papers. No, we have to also understand how artificial intelligence is supporting innovation managers here.
Yeah. So thank you very much again for the Q&A and for the presentation. It's really, really interesting. Yeah, and for the other participants, so we will see next week on Wednesday, presentation from my colleague Simon. And yeah, then it's week. The next week we have the last one from the I don't remember, but we have the last one, and then your tasks on your participant folder. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Thank you very much. See you next week.